Hello, I'm back again for my second video since I missed yesterday. I know I'm terrible. I'm not getting off to the best start, but darn it, I am doing my best. So now we are on video number 2. If you have not checked out my other video, it is about Hollywood and politics. Yes, do check it out. I think you'll find it interesting, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. In the meantime, video number 2, subject number 2, we are discussing Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. Yes, it has to be done, guys, if for no other reason than the fact that she is either here or on her way here right now. She's coming to Hawaii to endorse a candidate. I will not say their name. I will not endorse anybody on the other side. I'm red. I'm voting red. I want us to be a Republican state for, just enough time to see what they got, what they can offer. I've seen 64 years of Democratic rule. I have experienced 11 years of it myself, and to be quite honest, guys, I don't really care what the Democrats are promising at this point, because that's pretty much what they're good at. Making a lot of promises and then not keeping them, and then running on those same promises the next time, because of course it has not been addressed and it is still a problem. So it becomes yet an endless cycle of promises made, promises unkept. And if our president and what he's doing is any indication of what we can expect from the rest of the Republican Party, I say let's do it. I say let's give them a chance. And I did do a video earlier in the week talking about rocking the vote red in Hawaii this election cycle. I think it's very important. Obviously, Alexandria Cortez feels it's just as important and thinks that she seems to have enough clout to come here and endorse someone and it possibly work. It worked for her, right? Well, it worked for her because she was pounding the pavement in a district that her opposition just didn't feel the need to campaign against. But you're coming to Hawaii now, and it's a state where there's a lot of aloha and a lot of togetherness, and despite the things our representatives have done, stick together and stay strong. And now it's time for all that patience and standing strong to start paying off. And if that means changing up the party and shaking up the island a little bit, I'm down. I am so down. What I am not down for is someone like Ocasio Cortez coming here and endorsing yet again another Democrat socialist, when that's not what this country is about. We are not a socialist country. We do not need socialist ideals. If Venezuela is any indication of a socialist government, I don't want any part of that. And I think the islands would suffer more greatly than the mainland. I believe that it would be a complete disaster for everybody, but it would be more so of a disaster for Hawaii, especially considering the trade and the shipping and all the politics with that. I mean, you can't order anything from the mainland and it not cost you an arm and a leg in shipping. And that's one of the bigger reasons why living in Hawaii is so expensive, is because everybody has to, depending on what it is they're doing and what industry, they have to pass that cost onto the people. And it's ridiculous, and it's high time that we start revisiting some of these policies that dictate the cost of living and shipping costs for locals. And I don't see any socialist platform coming close to addressing that issue. So I really hope with who we have left, which are Republicans, they can do the job that Democrats have not been able to do since they've had reign over our islands. And one of the biggest problems these islands have are cost of living. Like I said the other day, my son's classmate is homeless digging out of trash cans, and he's probably barely older or as old as my son, 20, 21 years old. And that's happening now under Democrat rule. We don't need to go shifting to Democrat socialists and just degrading and downgrading our country based off of a bunch of people who think everything should be free. And newsflash, it's not free. Quit using that word. Quit manipulating the people who are still naive enough to listen to you with your garbage. It's not true. It's bad for the country. It's been bad for every country that's tried it. It was tried for over 100 years, and all we have to show for it is how many millions of people who died because of that. No, thank you. To bring that attitude to our country, to bring that attitude to our state, I'm offended, and I'm horrified and appalled. We don't need that kind of thinking here or anywhere in our country. Ask Canada how their free health care is working out. Just because I don't see the money come out of my paycheck doesn't mean you just gave me something for free, honey. It just means that it came out of my paycheck and I didn't get a chance to see it, but you still took it. So if you're still having to take money from me to pay for your free medical, it's not free. And I would rather, and I'm sure most Americans would rather, pay for their own health care rather than a state-ran healthcare system that doesn't allow you to see a doctor for up to 2 to 3 years, depending on what it is you need to see that doctor for, what doctors are available, and how long the list of people before you there are to get through before they get to you. I don't want to pay for that. Do you want to pay for that? I don't want to pay for that. If I'm going to pay for something, I want to know that that service is available to me whenever I need it. And as of right now, I can call my doctor and get an appointment for today. I could walk in to the office and not have an appointment. And granted, I might be waiting 2 or 3 hours, but I will be seen by the end of that day. And if they can't see me, they will schedule me an appointment, and I'll most likely be back the very next day. With a socialist platform and this whole free medical crap, why would I pay for an inconvenience? Because that's pretty much what that system sounds like, is a big headache and a big inconvenience. And I wonder how many people have died waiting for their medical care. I wonder how many people who got worse or whose condition upgraded to incurable because of their weight. So excuse me if I don't want to pay for something that I'm not going to get benefit from for 3 years. So this whole time I'm waiting 3 years to see a doctor, and I'm still paying every paycheck into the system, a system I can't even use for 3 years. Are you kidding me? Not only is that not free, but now I'm paying to be inconvenienced. I'm paying to die early. I mean, if that's what you're selling, I don't want no part of it. And I especially don't appreciate it being presented in such a positive way as to say, I don't know why we haven't done this a long time ago. I know why we haven't done this a long time ago. We have plenty examples of why we're not a socialist country to the point that we are throwing all of our money into a big old pot and it's just for everybody. That's not the way our country was founded. It's not what keeps it thriving, and it's certainly not a direction we need to go in right now when things are going so well. I mean, whether you hate Trump or not, if you have such Republican derangement syndrome that you can't say one thing positive about Donald Trump and him being our president, you're trying really, really hard to stay asleep. Because there's just too many things that he's done that, despite what you might think of him on all the other issues, he deserves a pat on the back for. Absolutely. And this whole idea that everything positive that's happening is a direct result of Obama is laughable. Okay? Completely laughable. Because on the other side of that coin, the second anything is going bad, it's Trump's fault. So Obama gets credit for all the good stuff happening. Trump gets blamed for all the bad stuff happening. Yet, if you were to just pay attention to America and what's happening in America with the American people, there are more jobs than people to fill them. We have the lowest unemployment rate for women and minorities than ever before. North Korea, even though they might still be trying to be a little bit shady, which, come on, we all know how children are, and sometimes they think they're being slick. So North Korea might think they're being a little slick right now, but I'm sure President has it all under control. But in the meantime, they did send back the fallen soldiers and have started the process of proper burial and closure for families. The news barely reported on it. I think ABC of all stations actually reported on this for a whopping 24 seconds. Come on, guys. President Trump, he might not be your ideal president, but he is getting some stuff done, and our country is moving in a really good direction. And to have people like Alexandria Ocasio Cortez spit her poison everywhere she goes needs to stop. I mean, we really need to just stop listening to her. We shouldn't even be giving her the time of day just so that we can rip apart what she says. We should just act like she doesn't even exist and not even give her a platform. And I know I'm calling her out at least once a week on social media, so I'm definitely part of the problem in keeping her relevant. But it's important to know that she's dangerous. I'm not trying to validate her or give her, more attention, but we do need to address, the elephant in the room, and that's she's dangerous. She might come across not very intelligent, but the people listening to her probably aren't much more intelligent. And when you have her manipulating and word playing just to make things sound good to an audience that already doesn't really quite understand, there's probably more of those people out there than you all would probably like or care to admit. But they're out there, and apparently she's selling out seats no matter where she goes. And again, I really do hope that's just out of morbid curiosity and not because people are actually supporting her or the platform and what she's running off of. Because again, it's a very dangerous platform. It's very dangerous to the very people of this country. Again, just look at Venezuela. They used to be a first world country, a very thriving country. Now they look like a third world country that is starving to death, all due to socialism. So, excuse me if I'm not real happy about Alexandria Ocasio Cortez and her desire to come to Hawaii and endorse another looney like her. If anything, thank you for showing me who I need to stay clear from, who I need to stay far away from, and who I will not vote for in this election coming up on Saturday. If you got an R next to your name, you already know you have my vote. If you're a blue waiver and you are insistent on still voting Democrat for this island, at the very least, just don't go socialist Democrat. I'd prefer that, we all give the Republicans a chance to show us what they got before a Democrat socialist any day of the week. And again, touching on my video from the other day, I know a lot of people had a certain belief about the Republican Party, but it's just simply not true. I have seen more diversity, I have seen more civility, and I have seen more love on the right than I ever saw on the left. And I was left-leaning liberal for a really long time, but things are just too out of control now that I can't trust a party that is so unstable, so violent, and just to the point that they've just turned off and they're just not listening and they're just yelling and screaming all the time. Like, I can't get behind that. And I don't care what kind of promises Democrat socialists are making you. Do not fall for it, because once you fall for it, you have yet again given them more power, more time to completely destroy these beautiful islands. And I don't know if any of you have seen any of the pictures coming out of Venezuela right now, but imagine if that were Hawaii. None of us want that. And I personally protest the idea of that woman being here and spreading her BS. None of us should be listening to it. None of us should be tolerating it. And we should absolutely take our frustrations out at the voter box and vote red. For any other reason than to just have fresh faces, fresh ideas for our islands. Again, 64 years of Democrat, I definitely don't want to see 2 years, 6 years, 8 years, 20 years down the line once again, and now we've just let Democrat socialists take the wheel. If our choices are a Democrat, socialist, or a Republican, I guarantee you, you're probably better off voting red and kind of taking a chance, really. I mean, I hate to say it. President Trump said it, but Hawaii, what do we have to lose at this point? I mean, we have a rail that is just completely expensive and tearing this island apart. We have roads that are just so god awful. I'm surprised the state hasn't been sued over just the damage it causes to our cars. Traffic, that's always, just a top complaint. And then you've got just the cost of living is insane. We have teenagers homeless because it's just too much to support themselves in even a single home dwelling, 1 bedroom, 1 bath studio. I mean, the rent here is not cheap, guys. Tourists are supposed to pay heavily for their vacation, for their time on the island. But locals should not have to pay every single day for the rest of their life the view. Because, let's be honest, Hawaii is beautiful. The view, depending on where you live, can just be spectacular. I live up on Makakilo Hill. I have the most beautiful vision outside my window of Diamond Head. Honolulu is just right there outside of my window. I shouldn't have to pay for that view every single day of my life, okay? People who were born here, native here, locals here, should not have to pay because where they were born is so beautiful, okay? That's what you charge the tourists for, all right? You want to make money. You have a beautiful state that people want to visit. When they come here, you charge them a lot of money for the things that they enjoy, okay? It's par for the course. That's what happens. That's why certain cities and states maintain themselves. It's through the tourism. So yeah, if you're coming to Hawaii, expect to pay big bucks to visit, to enjoy that multi-million-dollar view, to enjoy that beautiful beach, to enjoy whatever kind of weather you want. Because trust me, if you don't like the weather around here, just drive a little ways and you'll find someplace a little rainy, someplace a little windy. I mean, it has a little bit of everything for everybody to enjoy. But if you're going to come here, no, you're going to pay heavily for the privilege of being here. But people who live here, work here, dedicate to their lives and their families every day for generations and for more generations to come, they should not constantly be charged for just being somewhere beautiful. Rent is out of control. There's a lot of restrictions on how people can make money with tourists through renting out their home or their, apartments or whatever the case may be. We're having a really huge debate on the islands about doing the whole, I can't think of the name of it now, where you just rent a place online and then boom, you come here and you stay with somebody for a few days. That's being looked at. I heard that there's some issues with not Lyft, but I think Uber. There's just so many things happening that are directly affecting the people that live here, and that's not fair. So if the only way we're going to get out from underneath not being able to afford living here, having better roads, having less crime, and having an island that is just beautiful and everybody can enjoy, that's what we deserve. I mean, that's what we deserve. We deserve better, and we deserve to be treated privileged. I know I'm transplant, and most people don't like transplants, but damn it, I've been here for 11 years. I love this island, and I've seen what the people here can do when they come together. And it's time to come together as a state and really recognize that the Democrat Party has really done nothing for us than a bunch of promises. And now that they're trying to get off this whole promising you free phones and welfare, because it is a bad look, let's just be honest, now they're trying to offer you up free education and free health care. And again, these things are not free. We still pay for them. And once you start dictating jobs and pay and growth, you're not going to have the same amount of professors. You're not going to have the same amount of doctors or nurses or anything else. If they can't even meet their bottom line, why bother? So instead of trying to bring an entire system down and destroy an entire country, how about do some research and put yourself in a position where you actually can be of some use, be of some help, be of some service. But coming here with a socialist attitude or showing up anywhere in America spouting your socialist agenda is disgusting. And we need to stop giving these people a platform, even if it's just because you're curious. So I know I kind of went off on a tangent a little bit, but I'm sorry. It really makes me mad that of all the time to start bringing up the socialist attitude is when we're actually moving in a good direction with the government and the systems in place that we already have. So if you like being able to schedule appointments with your doctor and not having to wait 700 days, if you appreciate an education and you want it to come from a top-notch professor who really knows his stuff, you might not want to vote for someone who has a Democrat socialist agenda, because what we're ultimately going to be ending up with is crappy health care and crappy education. And not only does Hawaii deserve better, but all of America deserves better. So let's wrap up this whole Democrat socialist BS and let's get back to reality and really start hitting the pavement with what's important. And even if you're a Democrat, seriously, turn the tide a little bit in your own party and fulfill a promise you made. Anyone, pick one, and do your best to actually solve it and show the people that you really are here for us and not your own agenda. Because as far as I can see right now, the only thing happening to Hawaii is the people in charge are making it very hard for low-income, middle America to stay here. And ultimately, we're going to have an island that the only people who can afford to live here are the very people who are in charge of it. So, really, I mean, ask yourself, if after 64 years, you want to turn the climate to a more socialist ideal? Or do you think it's time to just give up on the Democrats altogether right now and take your vote to the Republican side? And I for one, plan to do that because, like I said already, I've seen the promises made, promises kept by our president. And if our Republican representation is anything close to doing as our president does, we should all be on board with that, and we should all be excited to see what can come of that. And like I said in my earlier video, if it turns out that they just don't hit the mark, and they just are so off base that we just can't really get behind them after their first term in office, well, I'm sure you're going to have people ready and willing to take it back to the Democrats next round. But for now, if I were you, anybody that this woman is endorsing, stay completely as far away as possible as you can. And give your Republican representation a chance to show you what they can do, not only for the nation, but for our state. We absolutely deserve it. And we don't deserve someone like Bernie Sanders or Alexandria Ocasio Cortez coming in and with their smoke and mirrors and their promises and their bullshit. We don't need it. Okay? We're smart enough people to understand that what they're offering up is not as transparent as they might want you to believe. There's a whole lot more that goes on with this that they're not telling you. And if you really want to know how it will play out, pick up a history book. Go pop on over to Venezuela and see how things are going, and then ask yourself, is that what we want here? And I'm pretty sure you're going to find that the answer is no. We don't want that here. We don't want you here. So, can't wait till you leave. I can't wait, I guess, to see what stupidity comes out of your mouth. Again, I'm trying not to endorse her or give her any kind of public credit for anything, but she does offer up some good sound bites at the end of the day. I ain't gonna lie. But for real though, I mean, all jokes aside, if you listen to this woman speak, she's not all there, guys. And the more the left sees that, I think the more they try to hammer her and talk with her more politically and just drill in those catchphrases and all of those things to make her sound smarter than what she really is. I think they're trying to get her off of her answers, and they're definitely trying to groom her to answer these questions in a way that sounds more intelligent and truthful. But at the end of the day, it ain't gonna work, because we know what a socialist platform will do. Okay? It's not a secret. We have Google. Okay? So, that's what I have to say about that. That's what I have to say about Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, where she stands, who she endorses, and the fact that she's on our island. What do you think? Are you a fan? Do you feel the need to go check her out out of curiosity, or because you're really behind the things that she has to say? And if you're behind her and the things she has to say, I definitely want to hear from you and hear why you think she should be the new face of the Democrat Party, and this is the direction we should be moving as a country. If you think she's a complete lunatic, I'd like to hear from you just the same. So that's my thoughts on what's happening today in our beautiful state and who's visiting. Leave me a comment. Give me a like, a dislike. For real though, subscribe. And as always, thanks for push and play and making me a part of your day. Till next time, bye.